Sometimes a child might not be able to quite say what they're feeling, but they might hear it, even sing it in a song. Welcome back to The Journey Inside. I'm Andy Phillips. Today, on The Journey Inside, you'll hear how the light inside a child struggling to find his place was ignited by a song, and what that moment teaches us about seeing the light inside all our kids. And as promised, I've got my family with me today to help with a song that will come at the end. Please stay tuned for that. Let me ask you something before we begin. Have you ever watched a child almost join in, almost raise their hand, almost speak up, almost smile, and then pull back at the last second? What if the moment that helps them take that step isn't a lecture, but an invitation? When my wife, Judy, and I were building our lives in education, we learned something that stayed with us. Children don't always have the words for what they're carrying inside, but they do have a language. Sometimes it's play, sometimes it's silence, and sometimes it's music. Early in our careers, I often visited Judy's 4th and 5th grade multi-age classroom. We'd sing together, not perfect singing, real singing, the kind where kids come in too early and stop too late, laugh at themselves, and try again. One of our favorites was If I Had a Hammer. But there was one student who hesitated to join in. He didn't make a big deal about it. He just stayed back, like he was watching the room instead of living in it, like it felt safer to keep his guard up than to risk being seen. Well, one day after we'd sung the usual songs for a while, Judy and I tried something different. We asked them a question. What if we write our own song? Well, now that got their attention. 4th and 5th graders don't always love assignments, but this wasn't an assignment. This was an invitation to create something real. At first, there was that special kind of silence that wasn't empty. Wheels were turning just quietly. So we waited. Then one student said, "Sailing ships?" Another voice added, "Across the sea." Then another, "On the water, a day and a year." Someone else added, "On the water, crystal clear." And just like that, the room changed. It wasn't a classroom anymore. It was an ocean, a place to explore, a place to go if you needed space. Then the magic just kept getting better. A line came out that didn't sound like school talk. It sounded like from the heart talk. "It doesn't matter anymore," another child finished the thought. "We've passed by foreign lands before." Now the ship had a history. Whatever it had experienced, it had survived and kept going. And then the song shifted from adventure to goodbye. A child said, "We're leaving this land forever and ever. Give us a kiss," meaning goodbye. And from a quiet voice in the back came a line that felt like courage. "I'll try to do my best to live my life as the days go by." These weren't my words or Judy's. These were the children's words. I started putting their lines to music right then and there while their ideas were still alive in the air. I took a stab at singing the first verse and then looked out across the room. I figured I'd get a sense of either approval or rejection pretty quick. Not only did I see smiles on faces, I saw them in eyes. And that's when Judy and I saw something else. That student, the one with his guard up, had shifted his body closer to the front. He just started singing, too. Quiet at first, but he stayed with it. And the other kids didn't turn it into a thing. They just kept singing like he belonged there, because in that moment, he did. We sang it over and over and over. That's what music can do. It can make a space for someone. It can turn a group into a community. And for that child, it was like a small spark finally found oxygen. That experience stayed with me. Over the years, it repeated itself many times in our classrooms. The shift that boy made wasn't forced, it wasn't a lecture, it was an invitation. Sometimes the doorway into a child isn't more correction, it's connection in the moment where they feel safe enough to step forward. I love telling that story. It's just so powerful. It's a big part of why I wrote In Jake's Shoes. At its heart, it's about what can change when someone finally learns to see a child's world from the inside. Here's one small takeaway you can try this week. While you're spending time with a child, at home, in a classroom, on a ball field, watch for one moment where you see them light up. One moment that just seems clear as a bell. They feel seen, included, understood. Quietly tell them, I saw that. I love that part of you. Next time, we'll take a look at a couple of powerful forces that affect children. Sometimes life isn't fair, and believing you are loved. You can pre-order In Jake's Shoes at andrewcphillips.com. Just click books. Thanks so much for joining me on the journey inside and for allowing me to share a little bit about myself as an author, a storyteller, and a dreamer. If you're enjoying the journey inside, please follow the show and share this episode with one person who loves stories that mean something. So, until next time, take care and remember,
books are an adventure. You can journey anywhere. Just reach out and turn the pages. Begin to dream.